TMZ Live. So the Whitney Houston coroner's death report is in. They have confirmed what we've been telling you, which is they found a white powdery substance. Let's go to Mike right now. Mike, I know you're reading something to Evan. Let's do this simultaneously so you can hear
Evan,
it.
can you hear me? Here's what it says. And this, Harvey, actually two things. One, located on the south portion of the counter was a small spoon with a white crystal-like substance in it, and a rolled-up piece of white paper along with other miscellaneous items. Then it says, on the bottom of that base were, located in the top drawer in the north side of the counter were remnants of a white powdery substance and a portable mirror on a base. On the bottom of the base of the mirror were remnants of a white powdery substance.
And the white powdery substance, we know based on our sources, that white powdery substance was tested and confirmed to be cocaine.
Right.
This is the white powdery substance that the Beverly Hills Police Department is in possession of, and we are told that is why they feel confident they have all of what they needed from the hotel room, and they're not investigating anything further. So that's...
Harvey, I also think that the interesting part of what this shows is how bad it was. I mean, the fact that Whitney Houston had a spoon with white crystals in it, I mean, this looks like hardcore drug use, not a relapse for one night or, you know, something a little less. The fact that she had that, the rolled up white piece of paper is probably for snorting the cocaine off of the mirror, because the base of the mirror would be somewhere where she was putting the powder. Like I said, the scene that I'm reading from here looks like a drug addict's room. That's what this looks like. I mean, there was ashtray with cigarette butts all over the place. There was stuff like strewn about, pills, medication bottles. This just looks like a really bad scene.
So basically, we have a situation where they're finding that not just white powder, but they're finding crystals. The crystals would be what?
Well, I'm guessing, Harvey, on this, but what it looks like, a lot of people use spoons for different kind of ingestion of cocaine. So whether she was heating it up, the most common use is to heat up a substance in the spoon. But I can't be 100% sure, but it looks like the cocaine is probably also those white crystals on the spoon.
Right.
Probably both.
Now, Mike, how long is the report?
42-page report. What I'm reading from is actually what they call the scene description, which will give you everything from where her purse was to what was on the balcony. But that's where I'm reading from, where the spoon, the mirror, and the cocaine was. It also says that there was a plastic baggie ripped open with pills. Sorry. Yeah, right. Well, Emmett just pointed out a good point, Harvey. It also confirms what they originally said, which is that the decedent possibly overdosed on the narcotic substance or the prescription medication. They're saying that she might have died before she went into the water, but the main cause of death is still drowning. So they're pointing out that the narcotics in her system were elevated enough that it could have caused her death.
So say that again, Mike, because I think that's really significant.
This quote is, the decedent possibly overdosed on a narcotic substance, comma, prescription medications, comma, over-the-counter medications, comma, and alcohol. So
okay,
that's the
all those things
sentence.
were in her system.
So, that's right.
Hey, so Evan?
Okay, I'm going to go over, Harvey, I got to go over to it.
This is important, and I think we should put this in. What they're suggesting is, this is the first time they're really saying this was an overdose. The overdose of the combination of all of the things. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think that's something that they really never said squarely before. Right. So they're saying basically there were a combination. We knew there was Xanax in her system, and we now know there's...
They listed all those things. I mean, that explains one of our big questions was, if she went under the water, why wouldn't she wake up? Why wouldn't the survival instinct kick in? Well, if she was that knocked out, if she had overdosed, then there's your explanation.
Guys, when also reading this report, I mean, it looks like there was some hardcore drug use going on in this room. I mean, with all these people in the room, and everyone was kind of acting like they didn't really know what was going on when she died. I mean, it's just very interesting that, you know, who was
You're right, Gary. It does paint a picture, one of a lot of drugs being used in the room, but if there were people in and out of the room...
There were multiple people in the room.
Everyone has been sort of covering up because nobody's mentioned... None of the family members or anybody who's
They all acted like, oh my God, I can't believe this.
The shock of what happened when it seems they would have a reason to know.
You're not in a little hotel room with all those drugs and you're hiding it from people. Obviously, it's on the drug spoons on the countertop. People know what's going on.
Right.
So this is really significant. Now, Gary, you're looking at the report. Does it say anything about a possible heart attack, or are they just saying overdose?
Well, I mean, it looks like right now they're focusing on the drugs, and they're saying that it was an accidental death with the possible overdose that they were looking at. I mean, something that's really interesting is that she was lying face down in the tub, which before did we think that
Wait
she was?
a second.
We never heard face down before.
Yeah.
Face down in the tub.
Face down?
Doesn't it say face down in the report? Yeah. It
Do
says,
you guys see that?
With the top of her head facing west.
yeah, that's odd too, because that's different than what we heard in the beginning.
Because then that's not. You wouldn't be in a bathtub taking a bath and be face down.
Wow.
Definitely. I mean, it almost sounded like there might have. I mean, who knows? What the scene was, but if somebody had an incident where there might have been an overdose and they, tried to throw him in a tub and wake him up, I mean, I don't know. It's just there's all these variables now with this new report out.
Okay, let's take a quick break.
Yeah.
When we come back, we are going to continue looking at this, seeing if
42
there's
pages,
anything else.
right.
So stick with us. You're watching TMZ Live. We'll be right back. Welcome back to TMZ Live. So we've been telling you the breaking news that Whitney Houston's, the death report from the coroner's office has just been released. 42 pages and some really shocking information in there about drug use that was clearly going on in Whitney's room. We told you a few days ago that we knew that white powder was found and that it tested positive for cocaine. Well, that is indeed what the coroner's report says. They mentioned the white powder. We know separately it was tested. But there was all sorts of evidence here that there was open cocaine use in that room, which then raises the question, it would seem that anybody else in that room had to know what was going on because it was prevalent. It was all over the room.
Of
The
course.
other thing that's stunning is that Whitney was found face down in the bathtub. Mike, can we
Is
go
there
over
anything more on that? Because that is
that is
just as
stunning,
shocking.
I don't understand it. That the report is essentially saying she overdosed, that there was a combination of alcohol and prescription drugs and cocaine. But how was she found face down?
She actually, when they got there, she was actually on the living room floor. But what they're saying is they interviewed the people who first found her, and they say that when they walked in, she was face down in the water. So I don't think this is implying that there's something else going on. It's just that when she got in and when she went down, she was face down, that she was found floating. They pulled her out of the bathtub and put her on the floor, the people that were there before. But Harvey, I have to tell you, we just got into this report. In her history of substance abuse, one of the things that they put on the list to prove that is, one, the heart disease that she had, but two, perforation of the posterior nasal septum. What they're saying is she has a hole in her nose from all the years of cocaine abuse, and it's very common amongst cocaine users to have that. They also say that she had mild emphysema from smoking, obviously, but interesting that they are explaining how
A hole in her nose.
Yeah, and how much it caused.
Yeah, that's not a.
Here's basically
That's
the point.
common.
All of the reports that have come out over the years about Whitney Houston that they so adamantly denied are all true. Right? I mean, this is basically what this report says.
Well, she acknowleded,
that she
she
had done
herself
so many
acknowledged
drugs
the drug
that she had a
abuse.
hole in her septum. I mean, come on.
But she acknowledged the drug abuse in several interviews.
Well, but also, it's this whole, painting the picture that she was clean, she was okay, she wasn't anything near okay when she died. I mean, what I don't understand, and this again to me is so important, is that is it possible that anybody in that room didn't know what was going on, given what this report says was present?
Harvey,
Right.
they also say that as a part of the body examination, that she had blood purging out of her nose at the time. Also, not 100%, but probably what they're trying to explain there is, most often if you do overdose from cocaine or if you're sniffing it into your nasal passage, that is a common side effect of that type of overdose. And they do say here, remember, like I said before, that she died from a mixture of the narcotic, the pills, and the alcohol, and I think that's what they're trying to say there.
Mike, I have to say, now it kind of makes sense to me that, the family was saying they suspected foul play, and nobody knew where that was coming from.
If she's found face down,
maybe that's why they felt that, Mike, that she's found face down in the tub. They must have thought something may have been amiss. amiss, because how would she have ended up that way? And frankly, maybe she fell in the tub. I'm not sure what happened.
They still list the immediate cause of death, listed on this form on portion A as drowning. They still leave that, but then they list the other stuff that we said, cocaine intake and narcotic use, and past substance abuse as other causes of the death. But they still leave drowning as the top reason as to how she passed away.
Let's take a quick call. We'll come right back to you, Mike. Daryl, you're on TMZ Live.
Yeah, hi, Harvey. One of the things that I had heard from the Oprah Winfrey interview when she interviewed her sister-in-law and manager, she said that Whitney was found face down in the bathtub, and she did not know how she got there. And from the coroner's report previously, there were no signs of trauma on Whitney, and I've stayed at that hotel. It's not a soaker tub, so how humanly possible would it be for her to actually drown face forward in a bathtub like that?
Well, maybe you fall into the tub as you're trying to get in. You just collapse.
Or you have an overdose.
I mean, it's possible you could do it. If you're overdosing, you lose consciousness and you just slide in. If you're trying to get in the tub and you fall, I mean, it's possible that you could do that. Not out of the question. Oh, let's go back to Mike.
I actually spoke from what you're saying, sir. I actually spoke with some family members about that, and here's the fact that what they're trying to say, some of the people that I talked to, is that it's possible that Whitney Houston overdosed and people were there and they tried to put her in the bathtub to revive her, and that's why I think Pat Houston was saying, I don't know how she got in the bathtub, and in other words, maybe she didn't go there herself. But this tells us, and I'm looking at it right now, that the bathtub water was 93.5 degrees, which they're calling extremely hot. That's not that hot, but it's... My point of telling you that is she drew the bath. This isn't somebody turning on the bath water and going, throw her in the cold water, she's passed out. This is somebody who drew a bath, got the olive oil out. There was also some sort of alcohol in a bottle and something sitting near there. This is someone that was about to take a bath and died. So.
Okay, Mike, we're running out of time, so just to recap here. The death report from the coroner's office is now in. It is stunning. It talks about basically a drug, I don't want to say a drug den, but there was clearly cocaine present in that room, especially based on what we know. White powder found, Whitney Houston found face down in the tub, a hole in her nose, blood purging from her nose. This is a big deal. We will have more on this. You can check TMZ.com for all of the latest details, and on TMZ Live, we will see you tomorrow.